I've just bought this 2016 BMW 420d from auction as a non-runner, and in this video we're going to fully fix the car, go through the costs, and it did also come with some hidden extra damages.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You want to put right hand down there?
So now that I've got a 2-poster lift, what I do every time is we just reverse the truck in between the lift, lift the lift up, swing the legs underneath the car on the trailer and just pick it straight up with the lift off the trailer. This saves so much hassle with non-runners because I don't have to faff on with getting them running or getting them rolling. So the car's literally just been delivered and we've dropped it straight onto the lift, and I'll just walk you around the damage. Obviously the main damage is here on the driver's suspension corner, and I thought the suspension damage was going to be a lot worse than it was, but it's actually not as bad as I thought. I'll show you when I lift it up on the ramp. Obviously the wing is absolutely destroyed. I knew I needed a new wing and a new bumper, and behind the bumper there's not much damage to the crash bar either. This doesn't look like it's been touched, it's just nicked the little foam piece, but you can see all of this reinforcement down there isn't touched. It all looks alright, so it seems to have gotten away a lot better than I thought it had. The only thing I didn't expect, I don't know how I didn't notice this in the photos, but all of this damage on the door, I didn't see that. The door's pretty badly damaged. I don't know if that can be repaired or if I'm going to need a new door, but overall on the front end it's quite good. I thought it was going to be a bit worse than this, but I can't complain. Obviously the windscreen has cracked as well, but I'm not too worried about that because every time the airbag blows on a BMW, the windscreen cracks every time. The only car I've ever had that was BMW with a blown dashboard that didn't crack the windscreen was the M2 competition that I just fixed. I don't know how it didn't break the windscreen, but they always blow the windscreen when the airbag blows. And another little bit of damage that I didn't notice was these scratches on the rear quarter here. It's quite badly scratched. I didn't spot that on the photos, so the quarter's going to need painting. But other than that, the bodywork seems to be alright around the rest of the car. And this car does not run, it's a non-runner. Obviously because the airbags have blown, the pyro fuse is blown, which cuts out the power to the starter motor. I thought this suspension corner was going to be a lot worse than it actually is. I thought I was going to need a complete new corner, so all of the arms, the shock and the hub, because on the photo the wheel was sat like almost looking like it wasn't attached to the car, but if we come underneath, all of the arms look alright, except from this one, which is at a right angle, 90-degree bent. It should look like that. And I think the inner and outer tie rod are bent a bit as well. You can see it's just sort of bowed a bit. But the rest of it looks somewhat alright. I'll just show you on the inside of the car. I've got the key here, and if I press the start button, so I've got my foot on the brake, and if I press the start button, the car's not going to start. You hear it just tick, and that's going to be because of the pyro fuse. So we're going to go in the boot now. I'm going to bridge the pyro fuse. So the battery's in this little corner here, and the pyro fuse is in this little red box on top of the battery. So what I need to do is break this casing off of the top of the battery. So if I just do this, now you can see that this little bit of metal here is bent, so it's no longer a 90-degree angle. So all I'm going to do is just bend that back straight. There we go. So now I don't know if you can see, but that's a nice little right angle now. So when I put that back in, because basically what's happened is when that's exploded, it's just bent that back. So now I've bent it straight again. I'll just push that in there. So now if I try starting it, it should start. So let's see, moment of truth. Yep, starts up perfectly fine. And let's see what errors are on the dash. It has got a airbag light, driving stability light, and a tyre pressure light. What we got on here? Driving stabilisation, 9 errors. Restraint system, tyre pressure, restraint system, passenger restraint system, brake system, bonnet, Aaron. Previous owner must be called Aaron. My vehicle, vehicle status, let's have a look. Service history. Yeah, service history is alright. That's good. Like to see that. What else we got? We'll go into the check control. This just shows you all the errors. So bonnet open, door open, we don't really need to worry about that. Driving stabilization, that'll probably be from the ABS line, probably ripped. Airbag system, tire pressure, airbag, brakes. So I wonder if the brake line has lost its fluid. No, the brake pedal still feels hard. So that must just be to do with the ABS, I think. The ABS line must be ripped. And we have 79,158 miles, which isn't too bad. It's quite a good spec, this car as well. It's got heads-up display. It's got Harman Kardon. You can see. It's got Pro Nav. Pro Nav is like the bigger screen. It's quite a nice car. Now right now you might be wondering how we're going to get rid of all these different fault codes and how you might want to be able to do this yourself at home, and all we're going to need is one of these little Carly devices which is going to let us go through all of the errors and figure out how to resolve them. Now with this little device we can actually get really in-depth diagnostics, and it can let you unlock custom coding features which weren't enabled from factory. Connecting to the car is very easy. You just want to plug the device into the OBD port and connect to it via Bluetooth. So with the device connected to the car, I'm just going to click the connect button on the app and I'm going to select my scanner here. And then it's going to pop up with this. Now there is a free version and there is a paid version, but I definitely recommend the paid version because it unlocks all the features like custom coding and also the in-depth history and mileage checks. It also has one feature which I really like. It's the Smart Mechanic. The Smart Mechanic gives you an in-depth tailored description to your fault code. So for each different fault code you have, you can click on it and the Smart Mechanic will give you a description on what this fault code is and how to resolve it. So I've just scanned the car and we can see that it has a total of 24 different error codes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just clear the codes to get rid of any faults that aren't really there. So now that I've rescanned the car, it's only came back with 4 error codes, and in one of the modules is the crash safety module. And if I go into here, the one error is for the driver's seatbelt tensioner, which tells me that this seatbelt tensioner needs replacing. Also, you can see with the engine running, we do have an airbag light on the dash. So once I remove this seat and replace the seatbelt buckle, the airbag light should disappear. So now I've got the seat out of the car, I can show you the difference in the belt tensioners. So this is the one that was on the car that's blown, and this is the new one. And if you look very closely, you can see the difference. This one is pulled down and now it's locked into place. That's because the explosive's blown. So I need to swap these out, and once I swap this out and plug the seat back in, the airbag light should clear off the dash. So now that I've installed my new seat, if I just come on here and I click clear airbag crash safety module, now that's cleared, I'm just going to click repeat check. So now the airbag crash safety module is green. So if I start the car, yes, the airbag light is now gone. And this is how the Smart Mechanic works. So these are the fault codes which are available with Smart Mechanic. So if I just click on here and then I click Smart Mechanic, it'll go through what the fault code is, the potential consequences, and a guide on how you can fix it. So this is really helpful for some fault codes. So if you want to use Carly and you want to check out all your vehicle's hidden features, just check out my description and make sure to use my code. Now that we've got it running, this is a great buy, I'd say, because the damage is not even as bad as I thought it was going to be, other than the door, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, the engine runs perfectly fine, so the worry of it being a non-runner is out the window. Don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to get all the parts ordered and we'll see how long it takes to fix it. Oh, no way.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I didn't expect this, but the wheel was absolutely shattered. You can see that is never going to be fixed, so I had to get a new wheel ordered. The first thing I'm doing is removing all of the arch liners. They're just held in with a lot of 8mm screws. There's loads of them on the bottom and in the arch. And then I'm removing this trim, which covers some of the bolts for the wing. So once this is removed, I'm just removing these 10mm bolts, which hold the wing in place. And then I can start to remove all of the bolts for the top of the bumper, which hold the bumper onto the car. And then I'm removing the passenger side wheel and the arch liners on this side. This reveals access to the bolts for the bumper, so I can remove those. And then finally, there was just some bolts hidden underneath this splitter. So I had to remove the splitter first, so I could get to all the bolts for the bottom of the bumper. And then I could finally remove the front bumper. One bumper removed. Now that I've got the bumper off, I want to see how badly damaged this headlight is. Will it just come out? So it's got a little hole just there in the casing. I don't think I'll be able to fix that, to be honest. You could, but because it sits at the top of where you'll see it from the engine bay, so it's probably going to look a bit naff if I fix that. But, oh yeah, look at that as well. Oh my god. There's a massive chunk missing there. So that's where the cover goes for the bulb, but there's a massive chunk missing there. Yeah, this is scrap.
Now there's just a couple more 10mm bolts holding the wing on. There's one in the arch and there's also one through the door here.
Right, that was the last bolt.
Now that I've got the wing out of the way, that gives me a little bit more room just to work on the suspension. So we're going to go ahead and remove that bent bottom arm.
So here, side by side, the one that I've just removed from my car, and then that's what it's supposed to look like. So you can see how massively bent that actually is. It's literally a 90-degree turn. That's crazy. You'd think it would snap before it would bend that far, but I'm going to get this one put in the car now. So I've just used the jack there to push up on that, and then that stops that from spinning. Because when I was trying to loosen the nut, the whole thing was spinning, so if you push it up on the jack, it just keeps that in place and lets you unscrew the bolt.
So here I'm just jacking up the suspension to where the wheel would be as if the car was sat on the ground, and then I'm tightening the arms so then there's no stress on the bushings once you drop the car on the floor, and then we can finally drive the car for the first time.
Now that I've got the car outside, I've got a lot more room to open the doors, which just gives me a lot more room to work with, and I'm just leaving the engine to run because the battery was a little bit dead, so I'm just going to let that charge itself up a bit. I'll put you on a time lapse for removing the rest of the dash, but the steering wheel is literally just these two holes, and you push that clip like that, boom. Get the steering wheel off. The steering wheel is a 16mm nut. Boom. So it's currently 1:30. I'm going to see if I can remove the dash in less than 20 minutes, so let's see if I can get it removed before 10 to 2. So, 17 minutes and the dash is out. There we go. Dash out in 17 minutes. Easy. Now, if you're wondering how I took the dash out in such a quick time, it's just because I've done it a lot of times. You can see how little there actually is behind the dash. There's not much to it. So right now I'm just on my way to the breaker's yard. I'm going down to G&M Autos to pick up the airbag kit and some other bits for this 4 Series. So I'll check back in with you once we've got to the breaker's yard. So you might recognise where I am. I'm back down at G&M Autos and they've got some of the bits I need for the 4 Series. If you come in here, they've actually got 1, 2, 3 different 4 Series. And this one on the bottom has the dashboard in it that I need. And I think they've got some arch liners and stuff that I need. So any of your BMW parts, stuff like that, they've got loads of cars here, so any parts you might need, come give them a shout. I've made the mistake of every time I need a part, I just look on eBay straight away, but it never used to cross my mind to come to a breaker's yard. But obviously they've got so many cars here and it's just so much easier. You don't have to wait to get them delivered, and obviously they give a cheaper price than what you'd buy online because you're saving on your shipping costs and stuff. Aha. Arch liner removed. While I was at the breaker's yard yesterday, the windscreen guys came and replaced the windscreen, so you can see the windscreen is brand new in there. And it's actually quite funny because even though there's no dashboard or anything in the car, if I come inside, all you've had to do is just plug in the start button and also this trim around the steering wheel, because that's where your key transponder is. So if I press the start button now, the car will actually start. And I can drive it around like this because obviously when I removed the dashboard, the car was outside, but I wanted to pull the car back inside, so I just put the instrument cluster in. And you can see it also has the heads-up display. You can see in the windscreen. I'm not sure if it'll come up on camera. So obviously, since I put the steering wheel on and the clock's in, I need to take these out of the way. All right, now the dash is ready to go in, so I'm just going to put it in through the other side. So there's two little speakers at the top of the dash, which is for Harman Kardon. So if a BMW has Harman Kardon, it has the speaker in the dashboard up here. So you have to feed the wire up to that speaker first, and then I can put the speakers in. And then once they're in, I can then put the dash on properly. That is the dash, fully installed, and I just need to change the curtain airbag. I do have a steering wheel airbag, but I've just left it at home. So yeah, that's the dash, all back together. Quite nice and easy.
This is the new headlight which I bought off eBay, and I need to swap over all of the modules from the headlight that was in the car to my new headlight, since this came with no modules. But you can see these two LED modules were really crusty, so I had to order 2 new of those. What I'm doing here is I'm swapping over all of the little clips and brackets from the old wing to the new wing. I also had this wing just sort of flashed in the colour so that all the edges were painted, but it's all going to be painted again once the full side of the car gets painted. This is the new front bumper which I bought, which is sort of an M4 style upgrade. It's an aftermarket bumper, but it's got the M4 shape to it, so it looks a little bit nicer. And now we've got that fitted on the car, we're going to get the car to the body shop and get it all painted.
Aye, hold on, mate. Hey, look. It won't be alright. Hold on, you two get to see this. Andy, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Look what Joseph did.
I actually drove over the fog light, but luckily it didn't break the plug. It just broke the light, which is a couple of quid.
The last one I bought was a fog light delete, but this one's kept them in.
Yeah, you look.
It's broke that one.
Aye, just the light.
I need another one for the certifications to...
How lucky. You will literally park on top of it.
to get...
Finally, my curtain airbag had been delivered, so here I'm just taking out the old curtain airbag, and once that's removed, I'm just installing the new one.
So I've got the 2 new headlight modules here, and they just go on the bottom of the headlight because the other ones were ruined from corrosion.
With the modules all changed and the headlight back in the car, you can see it works perfectly fine. And at the same time, they've pin-pulled all the damage out of the door, so now that just needs a little bit of filler and then paint. I then got my hands on that new bottom arm which had the ripped bushing, so here I'm just removing that arm. You actually have to remove the drive shaft to be able to remove the other side of the arm, and then also the inner and outer tie rod. So I've removed the boot, I'm just cutting the old one in half, using the tie rod tool to remove the inner tie rod, and then I can do the same thing in reverse, install the new tie rod, put the boot on, put the tie rod head on, put that new arm in, put the drive shaft back in, and then boom, that's everything done.
Something good.
And here is the car fully painted in the Estral blue. How does that look? Now we just need to fit everything up, do all the panel gaps, and it's almost done. The first thing I'm fitting on is the wing mirror. It's just held on with 3 bolts on the inside. Next is the door card, so I'm plugging in all of the electrical connectors and the handle pull cable, and then I can push the door card on and clean that up. And I also had to reinstall the rear tail light, which was removed for paint, and this little headlight bracket which was broken. I replaced that. Then I'm just doing the panel gap between the wing and the door, making sure it's all even.
Alright, so now the front bumper has been fully painted, and he's also painted the full side of the car. You can see there, nice and fresh. So I'm just going to get all of the grills put into the bumper now. And remember, this was an M4 style bumper, so it's sort of an aftermarket upgrade. Just going to make it look that little bit nicer. So it's actually got grills to go for the bumper. So I'm going to get all those grills put in now, get the bumper on the car, do all the panel gaps, and then that's pretty much it done. I need to put the arch liners in as well, but I'll just do all that at the same time.
Here we're doing the panel gap, so it's just a lot of opening and closing the bonnet and just moving things back and forward. Once we're happy with all of that, then we can reinstall the arch liners on both sides. I also service every car that I sell and fix, so I've dropped the oil there, and here I'm just removing the oil filter.
Just went to take the car for an MOT, and they've told me that the inner and outer tie rods both bent, and this bottom arm. This is on the other side of the damage, but we have to just change all of these, and we do the brake pads as well because they're quite low, and then take it back for its MOT.
So here I'm changing that outer tie rod and inner tie rod on the passenger side, which is the side that wasn't in the damage, and I've also changed the brake pads because they were getting quite low. So there you can just see I'm putting that outer tie rod on there, and then I'm doing the same on the other side, the brake pads, because obviously I've already changed the inner and outer tie rod on this side, so I've actually changed it on both sides now. And then once I'd done this, I also just needed to put some new wiper blades on it.
So here is the finished product of the BMW 4 Series. You can see how much better it looks with that M4 style bumper on it. And that is it, fully done. Painted, wheel alignment done, MOT done. It did have a few advisories on the MOT, so I'm going to get those sorted just for tyres and stuff like that. But I'm going to get this video out to you now. And if anyone is interested in buying this car, it is also going to be up for sale. But now I'll go through sort of all the costs for the car and what the total cost was after parts and paint and all of that. But just look at it, it looks good as new now. It's a really nice car. I love this colour as well. It's a really nice colour. But we'll go inside the car now, and I'll just take you through the costs and everything. Obviously on the inside of the car as well, we changed all the airbags, so everything is good as new in here as well. I'll just show you, here is my wheel alignment and MOT sheet, and there's no lights on the dash or anything like that. So the car is perfect now. Alright, so I've got my cost list here of how much everything costs, and initially the car from auction was £4,276.80 and the delivery was £320, so already there we're at £4,600. And then windscreen was £260, airbag kit was £220, headlight was £170, the bumper was £298.48, the plates were £12.99, the wing was £117.99, the inner and outer tie rod was £29.64, suspension arms £140, parking sensor £9.89, steering airbag £66.47, curtain airbag £20, alloy £90, modules £17.62, fog lights £12.34, headlight bracket £6.89, arch liner £45, paint £700, MOT and alignment £130, and the brake pads and the wipers, which I changed at the very end, was £68.57. So that brings a grand total of £7,011.58. So yeah, a grand total of £7,000 for this 420D X-Drive. I think that's pretty good. It's not the cheapest car in the world, but it also wasn't the most difficult one to repair either, so I'm quite happy with it. As I said, it's quite a good spec. It's the M Sport model. We've put this nicer bumper on it. It's a four-wheel drive model. It's automatic. It's got heads-up display, Pro Nav, everything you'd want, to be honest. So it's quite a nice car for quite a cheap price. Obviously, if anyone's interested in buying it as well, just drop me an email. My email's in the description. I can let you know the price of the car and whatnot. A similar car for this would go for about £12,000. It's a 2016 on 80,000 miles. So without the category N mark, it'd probably be about £12,000. It's a really nice colour as well. I really like this car. Also, keep your eyes peeled for next week's video because I've just bought an unbelievable car. So get ready for next week's video. It's literally, I can't believe what I've just bought. So I guess you'll see that next week. But that's going to be it for this one. And I'll see you in the next week's video.